I'm Malcolm Briggs and this is the North Cornwall Brewery layout in 4 mil. The layout is just meant to represent a 1960s private line into a brewery. It's 13 foot long and it's 2 foot wide. We wanted a layout we could take easily to exhibitions, but I wanted it to be something that had a lot of different types of vehicles that could come in and out without being a traditional station. You start in the village of Knight's Hill and you come over the hill of the village and descend to the point where the brewery is. So about 1/3 of the left of the layout is village without any railway, and then the right 2/3 are solely brewery and the private railway line within it. Every building is scratch built and every building has been chosen from real examples that I've copied. I'm particularly fond of the fish and chip shop because it has an Art Deco fish fryer inside. And I also like the half-timbered house, which is based on one in the village where Vicar of Dibley is filmed. It does not represent a real brewery, but it is typical of its type. In that they tended to start with one fairly dramatic building when they were first built, and then more and more buildings get added on over the years, becoming progressively more ugly in my opinion as they get built. I could happily build model villages with no railways in. I just like building buildings. I have an interest and some training in architecture, so I like to make sure they are as realistic as possible. Some of them, the walls are even scale thickness, just to make them more like the real thing. It's interesting, the half-timbered building I started 30 years ago and realised that I didn't have the skills to complete it. So it sat in a tin for 20 years until I felt I was ready to tackle it. That was a challenge. The building site was a particular challenge because I foolishly built the outer brick walls with an individual brick system, which drove me mad. And that's one of the reasons why the walls are no higher than they are. The brewery buildings themselves were difficult because of their sheer size. Some of the buildings weigh up to 5 pounds. There's so much plasticard in them, but it was really just trying to model in that scale. It was more like modelling in O gauge. The layout is DC. I've never been that convinced by DCC for a one engine in steam layout, which is mostly what this is. I quite like section switches, but I was brought up and I've been playing with section switches for 50 years. On the other hand, I am going on to DCC with my next O-gauge layout. The uncoupling system is immense fun. It was a prototype that worked, so I carried it on. And essentially it is just a metal bar that you press down and a small part of the track work elevates and it uncouples the wagons from the loco. I suppose as a fairly young person, I was influenced by the night scene at Pendon Museum and the fact that the Dartmoor goes dark, and I just thought that was such a wonderful piece of theatre that I've always done buildings with lights in and the ability to control the lighting around them ever since. I've got two favourites, if I may. One is I really like the road vehicle that has the boxes of crates of beer on it. To my mind, it's just worked extraordinarily well and was very simple to do. The other thing I like is the pipe work around the brewery, which looks pretty disgusting and all the joints are rusting. And I just amuse myself by thinking that's the lager flowing into the bottling plant. It will be hopefully exhibited at the Great Electric Train Show in Manchester in March in 2021. And then we hope to be invited to other exhibitions because we'd like to do 5 or 6 exhibitions a year with it.